Yeah, hello viewers. Welcome to today's edition of BDTV Match Center. We hope you've been enjoying our past sessions, and today we have blockbuster, interesting topics to talk about. First, I will need to introduce my guest, my regular Ibrahim Abubakar. Nice to have you.
Thank you for having me once again.
And I have coming on the show for the first time a seasoned financial analyst and a sports lover, Mr. Ojabelo. Good to have you on the show. Wow, interesting. It's been a week of upset, a week of joy, a week of pain, like I will put it, a week of sadness, and a week of, feeling like, some things feel like, okay, they are done and dusted. Why some feel like, no hope, and eventually they got hope. I'm talking about the UEFA Champions League, and we saw how the drama that played out between Arsenal and for them failing to scale to the final between PSG. It was a big upset. I have my guest here to discuss that and what that means for Arteta and his team for next season. Arsenal in this Champions League, after eliminating Real Madrid, for a lot of Arsenal fans, it was like beating the defending champion. They are good to go and everything done and dusted. They lost the first game, the second one too. A lot of fans were like hopeful that yes, after all, they defeated Madrid away and all of that, and they lost home and away. So what happened? Is it that I don't know?
So thank you for having me once again. I'd say that the Real Madrid that Arsenal played against was not. They were not at par with the level you expect Real Madrid to be at. But that's not taking anything away from the Arsenal team. They were good on the day, home and away against Real Madrid. They played wonderful football. However, we didn't see that against PSG, partly because PSG, were also up there. They're doing their thing. They brought in their A game in the first leg and in the second leg. If you also look at the trajectory of PSG in this year's Champions League, they've defeated, I think, including Arsenal, 4 English teams. That are starting with
Aston Villa.
They defeated Manchester City.
Yes.
Then during the knockout stage, it was Liverpool first, then Aston Villa, then Arsenal in that back-to-back at the knockout stage, and now they're playing Inter Milan. So Arsenal were not good on the night, especially in the second leg. They did not give in their best. That was not the Arsenal team that played against Real Madrid. This Arsenal team were playing. They were depending on set pieces, corner kick, free kicks, throw-ins, and you'd expect them to take the game to PSG because going to the second leg was just a goal difference. And as it is now, they couldn't do what you expect them to do, which is a comeback. Just score a goal, then take the game to the cleaners. But I think they underestimated PSG, or they overestimated their own ability against the French side. And like it is now a story, it's now history. And I think Arteta's season has not been best. Looking at even the EPL second and just less than 3-4 points behind Manchester City at third. And we saw the run of game that dropped Manchester City's points in this year's EPL. You'd expect Arsenal to take it. However, we're also having Liverpool, winning the EPL. It's been like 4-5 seasons now since Arteta took over took over the job at Arsenal, and he's been second. At some point, you ask yourself, what does he need to win either the EPL or the Champions League? Does he need more investment in terms of bringing in top quality players and not just depending on the feeders team, as we call them in the local parlance here? So Arteta needs to go back to the drawers, probably talk with the owners, the board of directors on what Arsenal needs. Are they gunning for trophies, or they just want to be in the top 4, play as well as you could, and take us to wherever it is, probably the semi-final of the Champions League, and we are good? I'm sure the fans are not okay with that type of dealings, but who knows?
Okay, interesting. Mr. Jabel, I want to ask you, people, is it that after eliminating Real Madrid, is it that the Arsenal fans, they got too excited or they got too distracted? And I recall since eliminating Real Madrid, they've not won any match. So what's really happened? Because football, especially home and away tie, once you lose at home, it becomes very, very difficult. So is it that they got distracted beating Real Madrid?
Well, going by the saying of Jose Mourinho, he said when teams win Madrid, they tend to behave as if they've won the cup.
Wow. So
seeing Arsenal defeating Madrid, so they thought everything is over. Why? Because playing Madrid, it was a shock. That's one of the shocks in the Champions League. Defeating Madrid, you remember what happened in 2006? So when Thierry Henry came to Bernabeu and scored a long goal. So though Madrid, Arsenal again, Arsenal defeating Madrid both home and away, although it's a kudos, but I believe they overreacted to success rather than waiting for the success to be achieved.
Wow.
So I think Arteta needs to prioritize some games. You know, when you look at what is happening to Manchester City this season, I think they have not been in their best form. So at a point, Guardiola have to sit right. Can I win the Champions League? It's no longer feasible. Can I win the league? It's no longer feasible. But he went for FA. It's in final of FA. So you cannot be second as Abubakar said. Now you are second, a time you lose.
Last season,
technically, he lost technically
yes.
to Man City 2 seasons ago. Last season, he also lost technically. Now, Man City never performed very well this season. People are expecting Arsenal to take up the game. But what happened? Just Liverpool. I think there is more to be done in Arsenal team. Not only the coach, as well as those players. I think they're psychologists to tell them that success is not achieved when the game is not over. Success is only achieved when the game is over. Thank you.
Yeah. So let's go to the second match, which for me, people see the second leg as the final of the finals. Talking about Barcelona versus Inter, it was really, really a cracker. From the first leg to the second leg, first leg was 3-3. First leg was 3-3. The second leg, God, I've never seen that kind of game. 4-3. You saw a dogged and rugged, Inter Milan side that shows how strong Italian league is. For me, for Barcelona, we're looking at getting a treble this season. They've won the Copa del Rey. The league is almost at their hand, and they're thinking of getting the Champions League to make it a treble. So what really happened to Barcelona? Because they really fought hard.
Yeah, so kudos to Barcelona and Inter Milan, because on that night it was heavy. They gave their best. It's the type of losses that you look at and be like, okay, my team, they did perform well. We just didn't get the results. You can't even blame the players. You could see what Inter Milan's goalkeeper was doing on the night. It was hell in a cage, if you want to use the wrestling terminology. So I believe that Barcelona also went into that game not thinking that Inter could give them a shocker. They probably thought we could run. We've done it against Real Madrid. We've done it against some of the best team in the world in this same competition. So why not Inter Milan? Who is Inter Milan? But Inter Milan reminding us of what Jose Mourinho did with them, I think in 2010, bringing in old legs, 36, 37, 38, 35-year-old players, and taking them down to the Champions League final. They only have one lap to go now, which is against PSG. So I think Barcelona underrated the Inter Milan side, probably because they as Barcelona are younger. They've got Hansi Flick, who is a manager who doesn't care what the scoreline is. Just keep giving me goals. I don't mind if you're already leading 5-0. If you can make it 10, please do. So and their run of form lately has been superb. Winning the Copa del Rey, like you said, beating Real Madrid back to back, and now they'll probably be facing each other again this weekend. And it tells on the quality of the Italian side too. When you have goalkeeper of 35, 36-year-old defenders, the backline, the cumulative age of the backline is older than 150. So it tells you that you're playing against Rafinha, Yami, Lamar, and all those players. So Inter Milan, I think they're taking a cue from what Mourinho did last time, and kudos to Inzaghi for assembling the team. They were in Champions League final, I think 2 seasons ago. They were beaten by 3 seasons ago. They were beaten by Manchester City, and now they're here, which shows quality and consistency, which I think Arsenal do not have, and Real Madrid need to go back to the drawing board and probably fight again next season.
Wow, interesting. Mr. Ojabelu, quick look at the game was a cracker. But do you think Barcelona lost it at home, failing to win at all because it was 3-3? Because cup competitions like this, it's always good to take advantage when you are playing at home.
Exactly.
We saw that happen to Real Madrid.
Exactly.
And one was, in fact, that 3-3 against Inter Milan is like they have to force that draw at home.
Exactly.
So going to Italy was like a hell in a cell, like what he said.
No.
Although they tried to, but again, you saw the home advantage playing out for Inter Milan.
Yeah, thank you very much. You see, I like going historical. San Siro, Italy has hardly lost in San Siro in semi-finals, almost 11 matches. Majorly Inter Milan. Semi-final, they've not lost close to 11 matches, even from 1964 to 1965 when they won the Champions League. Then it was called European Cup. Now, to me, I'm going to disagree with Abubakar from the angle that he said Barcelona underrated Inter Milan. So I'm looking at who is this Barcelona to underrate Inter Milan that would take a club that were in final 3 seasons ago, a club that have player like Martinez, a club that have player like Thuram, a club that won the league last season, a club that won their Super Cup, and a club that also show there is no place they cannot play. A club that went to Barcelona and scored 3 goals. Now, when you look at this season, Inter Milan specifically, they've dealt with a lot of club away. And as we can see, they scored 4-3, but it was ruled offside. And technically, when you look at Hansi Flick's game, is I score, I keep you in offside. I score you, but I keep you offside. But Inter Milan, due to the technical capacity of Inzaghi, you know, Inzaghi was a very key player when it comes to offside keeping.
He was an offside specialist.
He's an offside specialist. You thought he was in offside, but he will be the offside.
Yes.
So when you look at that match technically, Barcelona could have scored 3 goals without Inter replying. But Inter got their trick that they tried to keep offside. So as a result of that, the goals were shocks to them.
So we should speak to the fact that they underrated Inter Milan's prowess, technical prowess. If you're coming into the game,
tactics. I think it's tactics.
So if you're like,
it's not about
okay,
underrated.
I want to keep them offside.
No, yes, I think they don't. I will agree with you if you don't use the word. I will agree with you if you say they don't underrate.
Okay.
So I will agree with you.
It's tactics.
It's tactics. They played Madrid when they played Madrid first time in this season. That Madrid lost 4-0. Madrid, I think Mbappe was around 7 offside.
Yeah.
Because Hansi Flick knew that I want to play you, and we are going to attack each other. But how can I make you useless when you attack? Is to keep offside. That was Hansi Flick's strategy. The first match against Madrid, 4-0, we have more Madrid has more offside. The second match, Madrid has more offside. I think against Inter Milan, they did something similar. But Inter were so smart.
And those goals were superb goals.
Yeah,
so let's wrap it up on this Champions League. Now it's Inter Milan PSG in final. 2 of them went through tough parts, getting through the final, and they were not bookmakers' favorites. A lot of bookmakers have tipped big teams: Liverpool, Real Madrid, Arsenal, Barcelona. But these 2 guys emerged from. I remember PSG or Inter Milan. 2 of them played playoff to qualify.
Yeah.
And now they're in the finals. So I want to ask you, Mr. Ibrahim, just few minutes, 1 or 2 minutes. Who do you think will win this year's Champions League final? Inter Milan or PSG?
Inter Milan straight away, because if you look at the last 2-3 years, like I said, they've been consistent. They were in the finals some years back, and now they're here again. So they'll probably have learned a lesson from the last finals against Manchester City, and probably look at what other teams did wrong or did well against PSG, and probably work on that. And like we said, before playing Barcelona, Inter Milan actually had the best defense in the competition. They considered lesser goals before playing Barcelona. So I think.
But against Barcelona, they considered more.
But they scored more.
So
you say they went all out against Barcelona too. So I think Inter Milan being one of the best defense in the competition, we want to also keep PSG out, and we know it can be tricky. It's a final game. There's no second leg, so you try as much as possible to make sure that your defense they are disciplined at the back, and your attack could get get to the target and make it count. So I'll tip Inter Milan to look at the trajectory last
to win
3 years
to win the final.
Yeah.
Mr. Jabelo, Inter Milan PSG.
I think I will go also in the way of Abubakar, considering although both Inter and PSG they've met once in a European Cup, and that was I think 1996, where they met in European Cup, and it was 3-3 aggregate, and Inter won on penalty shootout. And considering the PSG style of playing is similar to the style of Barcelona. So I think if Inter could curtail Barcelona, I think Inter could curtail PSG.
Oh, you're saying curtail, because for me, I'm looking at it, a team, PSG, they've been on this for a long time. And don't forget, they have a very good manager, Luis Enrique. In fact, if you rate the two managers, I will rate Luis Enrique, because he has the pedigree. And for me, well, it's a contest. Two of them went through tough parts, to get to the final. But well, you've given your verdict to Inter Milan, and we hope that they win the Champions League. Any team that wins it, they've all tried their best. Yeah. So we'll move straight to the Europa League. Wow. United fans right now are on their knees praying, God, please, let's just anyway get to the Champions League next season. Then the Europa League final, against all odds, beating a Spanish side, Athletic Bilbao, home and away. That was, for me, their biggest performance this season. I had one Man United fan, in fact, it was my boss, that said, apparently, after winning that first leg in Spain, saying 3-0, say, as far as it's concerned, that is the best performance United has given this season so far. And we all thought that it was a fluke. Return leg at Old Trafford. Bilbao scored, Athletic scored first. And before you know it, United came like a wounded lion. And they roasted this guy. He's looking at, okay, United and Tottenham. How will you rate, for me, Mr. Abubakar, let me start. United, making the Europa Cup final. What does it mean for them? And if you're in the mind of Ruben Amorim now, what will you do? Because it's like one step to next season's Champions League qualification.
Yeah, so if I were to be the manager of Manchester United, it's just to make sure that my players are fit and we are ready for the game against Tottenham. Because if you look at the data and the record this season, Manchester United has not beaten Tottenham in any competition this season. The last time they officially beat Tottenham in any competitive competition was 2022, 2023, I think. So they've not. The recent Tottenham has an edge over Manchester United when they go head to head, but United has not lost any game too in the competition this season. And you look at this is the best time for the likes of Ahmad and also Mason Mount coming back into the team. You saw what they did over in the second leg against. Actually, as a matter of fact, they changed the game. They go by Mason Mount, and the last goal, you could see on the face of the manager the joy of seeing Mason Mount, stepping up and getting that second goal and killing off the game against Bilbao. So I'd say the league is already gone. There's nothing they could do. They could not even they can't make the top 10 even if they win all their matches. At all. So efforts should be on trying as much as possible to get the one that matter against Tottenham.
Wow, Mr. Jabelu, you're smiling. For me, do you see United playing in next season's Champions League with this performance en route to the final of the Europa Cup?
Well,
playing against Tottenham,
I will not say categorically, but when you look at the performance of Manchester United, their ways to the final, their roads to the final, they never lost any match.
Yes, incredible.
It is incredible. They've never lost any match. But that is not a yardstick that they are going to go to the final and win. So that is not a yardstick. But the question is, I think they've gained the form in the European League. I think they've gained their form. So they've never played with Tottenham in any European Cup. So I think
Milan is a top team now. Bilbao too is a top team. Considering that level too they are playing.
yes, they've not been played with Tottenham in European Cup.
Yes.
I think it's going to be a very tough game. Why? Because both of them need to go to Champions League. It's a
It's
game.
like United need it more.
Why do you say so? What is the
Neither have appeared in the Champions League.
What is the position of Tottenham?
So the last time Tottenham won any trophy was the Italian Cup against Chelsea.
Exactly.
You see.
So they'll be looking at
On what basis you say United need it more?
No, United had that pedigree of playing in the Champions. They played in the Champions League more than Tottenham.
No, I think
and one of the reasons if Tottenham don't even play in the Champions League next season is not for me. I'm looking at it. It's not a crime. But if United miss this opportunity, number one, there have been issues about rejigging the team, building the team, and getting players. So playing in the Champions League next season, and the only way they can do that is to ensure they beat or defeat Tottenham in the final. So that will create good because most of those players, many of them are old and all of that. So that again could attract big players to Old Trafford.
I agree with you, but I don't know where you get the word United need it more. I don't know. Do you know what Mourinho told Tottenham? That a team that has never won cup for a period of time sack a coach that have been winning in final. So that statement we also reiterate them that this game we died here.
And Tottenham coach has been under serious pressure.
Yeah,
exactly.
And if you look at his record too, like he said that's the manager for Tottenham. He said he has always won a trophy in his second season. This is his second season, and he is in the finals.
Wow!
So it's a clash. It's a very beautiful football. I just also enjoy myself on that night.
Exactly.
I want to watch a very.
I think if I will advise Manchester United, I will advise them to be very careful. Conceding early goal against Tottenham.
But Tottenham,
if I end up 4-0, if you are not careful.
But again, Tottenham at a point they played the Champions League final. People were thinking that
against who?
I think they played Madrid.
No,
Liverpool. They lost to Liverpool 1 point.
The
last final.
People were thinking that
Tottenham, right?
They were thinking that Tottenham has arrived. I think Tottenham, for me, I might be wrong. I see Tottenham as a replica of Arsenal, the key giants. And when you expect so much from them, they just slumber.
Exactly.
You understand? And you've seen that play out. So they don't have that level of consistency. And for me, England would prefer to have the United representation than Tottenham representation. Maybe because of their fan base, even Nigerian. Look at our own brother too, Osimhen. He has been a lot of talking rumors. United. But again, if Man U wins that final today, I can assure you within the next few days, if truly Man United have been, discussing with the guy and all of that, that deal will be sealed. Because
deal with Osimhen?
Yeah, the deal Osimhen
so
to Old Trafford.
It helps because every single player out there that knows their onions wants to play at the top
exactly.
level. The top level for any European football game is the Champions League.
Exactly.
So who doesn't want to play for a team that will play in the Champions League?
I agree.
So that I believe that will help bring in many players, quality players. Yes, so
I think they should know what they need to do better.
Like I said, Amorim should just prioritize the Europa Cup than the Premier League.
I think that is the only way they can say they've done better than Arsenal.
Exactly, winning that trophy
among their fans.
Oh my God, you want to create another debate?
I'm not creating a debate. I'm not playing a dance.
So it's actually not a debate because if you look at it, Arsenal.
I can assure you, many Arsenal fans will not wish that Tottenham win it. But if it's like,
but unfortunately, if they don't wish Tottenham, why? Because of North London or whatsoever, Manchester United will also make jest of them. Despite your second, you have gone for units.
No, for them, they feel that United can go ahead and United can go ahead.
They already had a pedigree.
That's what I'm saying.
But compared to Tottenham,
exactly. It's just like when Arsenal were like Arsenal with Champions League, but a lot of Chelsea fans are saying, no,
so because I was,
you can see that play now that no, this guy should not win this tournament.
I watched the game against PSG. I had to wear a PSG jersey on the night. As a Chelsea fan, I don't want Arsenal to even get to the final.
Exactly.
Not to talk of trying to play to win it.
Wow.
So it was hot. The London Derby, the fact that I have more European trophies than you, the bragging rights and all of that, it comes to play. However, I hope like a Tottenham will win the trophy at least just to spite Arsenal.
Arsenal.
Yeah.
For me, let the better side win.
Yeah.
I don't bother, but I feel that
I've loved Manchester United.
I feel that I would have loved United because
I would love
truly
United to win.
United have.
But Tottenham are too dangerous.
Yeah, they are giant killers.
They must not. Man must not concede first. When they concede first, they may score 3-0. The only problem I have with Tottenham is that you may equalize 3-0 from them. They may score 3-0.
Yeah, they are not consistent.
That's why I say they are replica of us. You can't really vouch for
Tottenham.
But so it's an open game. We hope the best team wins.
Yeah.
So hello viewers. This is how far we can come in today's edition of BDTV Match Center. We hope you enjoyed the show. Well, for the United fans, pray well and wish that you guys win the final against Tottenham. And Tottenham too. Well, you guys are giant killers. Well,
Manchester United again.
Maybe you guys can just hope. Anything can happen. And for my Arsenal fans, well, try again next season.
Yeah.
Barcelona, you guys fought like a warrior. Next season, you come back better. And the Champions League final, well, let the best team win. Inter Milan versus PSG. Thank you, for staying tuned in today's show. See you next week. Cheers.